Hello. Okay, perfect. I was just making sure that this came up correctly. Hello. Yeah, I don't know what I've read because I haven't been reading. So, okay, that's not true. I haven't been reading for me, and I've read a lot this year, and I've been really consistent with my reading this year. Hi, Elizabeth. Happy Sunday. I hope your week has been lovely. So yeah, these last 2 weeks I've barely read anything, and I've taken some screenshots on my phone. But I don't know. I don't know what I've read, so. Oh, hi! Hey, hi Liz. Thank you for commenting. I appreciate it. I also appreciate your comment that you left this morning. That was very nice. And totally don't feel like you need to be active commenting in Loudcar in the live stream if you don't want to, because I totally just lurk in live streams. I'm really bad at commenting in them while they're happening. I often just watch live streams after the fact anyway. I'm really bad at being in them while they're happening as well. So anyway, I'm gonna look through my screenshots, because I haven't done this at all, and try to figure out what I have read. Which last time I talked to you was 2 Sundays ago. Okay, so I know I got a few of these in here. Okay. So I'm gonna start with just putting in to my daily tracker what I read on certain days. Which I stopped on the 3rd, and it's now the 13th, so I didn't really keep up with that. Nor am I accomplishing my magical readathon autumn equinox goals whatsoever. Oh, good morning, Melody. Does this decrease in reading change your... So what I'm going to do for magical readathon for autumn equinox, since, I don't know, G says totally just make it your own and do whatever makes the most sense for you, is I've just decided to extend it to the end of September, so that, because it's not my fault that I've felt terrible and that I haven't been reading because I've just been so mentally depleted. It's like every day that I'm not working, I've been taking just naps and naps and naps. I think last Sunday I just basically slept the entire day, and I just haven't been feeling well, and that's not my fault. And so I'm just gonna extend it out to the end of next month, and I'm gonna try to get back onto a reading schedule since I'm feeling a little bit better. But I'm also starting a new medication tomorrow to try to help with my chronic migraines, and they said that probably won't see results for a couple months, but if that helps, if this medication helps, then hopefully that will also help how much I'm able to read. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't been... It's like, usually when I get into like a reading slump or I'm not reading, it's often just because I'm like feeling depressed or lethargic and like just like not wanting to read. But the last 2 weeks it's genuinely just been because I've like felt like garbage, and all I've had the energy to do is sleep. So yeah, I haven't even stitched. Like, I have like I've started stitching a little bit, like the last like 3 or 4 days, a little bit more each day, but I didn't even stitch for like a whole week, and I've been really sad about it. So anyway, and I haven't even looked at my like spreadsheet, so I might try to like replan it, which is like 6 hours a day, and just like kind of get back into the flow of it and see if I can just like accomplish a normal amount of like reading instead of like an intense readathon amount of reading, since I'm still feeling kind of ill, but not as bad as I was feeling, which is good. So let's see the second. So let's try to find. I'm gonna grab my screenshots and really quickly, and I'm not really gonna talk through this, so sorry, it's not gonna be incredibly interesting. But I'm gonna. Oh yeah. So so I didn't screenshot anything because I didn't read anything. So I'm gonna take all of these and just kind of move them down and over so I still have them, and then I can grab from them. And same thing with these. Where's my cursor? There we go. Move them down and over. Okay, so yeah, so the last day that I read for that week, which I've read a little bit more this last week. So I will say I might have read this hour this day, although I didn't take a screenshot of it, but it looks like I threw it tentatively over there. But then I didn't read Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then it looks like Tuesday I finally did end up getting some reading in, and I read 2 hours of Venomous. And then, oh no, I did get to the whole thing. I had just taken a screenshot before finishing it for some reason. So that might have been a screenshot indicating that I'd like had been picking away at it, because I'd been picking away at this book that I really ended up enjoying, Venomous. I'll talk about it more in a minute. This is me just trying to like figure out when I actually read these, because I'm trying to keep track every day what I read, and I had a lot of no reading days this week. As I posted on my story community tab last Sunday, I was like, I haven't read since Monday. That was like the last day like I finished anything. I'd read a little bit. I read like half of a book, and it says like an hour Bad Cree. I listened to like 7 minutes of it. I don't know when I read Venomous. It might have been on a different day, but like I don't know. This is like such a confused mess. So Tuesday was like the last day that I actually picked this up. I'm gonna move these two over because I'm pretty sure I did read a little bit on a previous day, or at least I'm gonna put that one over, because I know I did pick it up multiple times. But I finally did that, and then the 9th I did more reading, which is good. Not that it's bad to not read. That's not what I'm trying to say. That's not what I'm trying to say. Reading is morally neutral. But it felt good to be reading because it's something that I love to do and it brings me joy. So I was glad to be doing it again. And I read 5 hours of Briar Rose on Wednesday, and that was kind of mentally draining as well because I wasn't expecting it to be like a Holocaust story, but it was. So then the next day I just read 1 hour of it, and then Friday I finished it because ended up being more draining than I expected, and the further we got into it, the more brutal it got, so I just needed a bit of a break from it. And then Friday I also tried to start the Unmarked Witch, but I didn't really care for it. And then yesterday I read The Black Death. Which was a 3-hour lecture. Okay. And then today, I think I got to the 1 hour mark. Let me check how far I am through this book. Come on. Yes, I got to the 1 hour mark, so I can put this in here that I listened a little bit further into The 13th Child. There we go. So that's my reading. A little bit less than, the week before, where I was reading, like 5 to 10 hours every day and then nothing. But that's okay. Worse things could happen. Okay, so now I can actually talk about these and put them in. Okay, so the last time I talked to you was Sunday, and I didn't actually talk to you about Juniper Bean Resorts to Murder. I ended up finishing it later that day. I was, about halfway through when I talked to you last week. I ended up loving it. I thought it wouldn't get, I don't know. I think I'm going to give it 5 stars. I didn't think, sorry, my nose is running. I'm sorry, I should have muted myself. I thought it wouldn't, where I was in the story, I was enjoying it, but and mind you, I also read this 2 weeks ago at this point, so excuse me if I'm a little fuzzy on everything. Is not the freshest thing in my mind. So basically what this book is about is it just ended up getting a lot deeper and just a lot more than I was expecting, and I ended up loving it, is what I'm trying to say. But what it's about, before I just ramble on, let me sell you on this book. Because it is really fun, but also it's really dark. So it's the first book in the Happily Ever Homicide series by Gracie Ruth Mitchell. And she's a writer. And she writes romances, but she's a self-published author, and she makes enough to support herself, but she doesn't do amazing. Enough. And it's amazing that she can support herself, and she's aware of that, but she still is very frugal and economic and stuff like that. But she's been in a little bit of a writing rut, because every time she's writing, she keeps killing off all her characters. So she's deciding to try to take a genre shift and try to start writing some mysteries or some mystery romances. And so she's trying to do some research. That's a word. What is that? She's doing some research about the genre and just kind of the logistics of how certain things are done. And she's being very analytical about everything. Anyway, so she has been living out of her car for at least a little bit, but she just got a new apartment, and she didn't know this, but the person who was going to be her roommate is somebody who was her tutor when she was 17 and he was 21. I think there are a 4 age difference, and she had a crush on him and tried to kiss him, and he was like, absolutely not, you are literally a teenager, like, you're in high school, absolutely not. And he shuts her down, and they never, like, saw each other again. And so he's, like, very apprehensive, and she's like, I think you're awesome, this is so great. And it's like their relationship, and I think the whole, like, them knowing each other in the past was handled really well, because he, like, really genuinely cared about her well-being and her as a person, but didn't see her as, like, a romantic prospect, which I really appreciate, because that would have been very icky. He's demisexual, and I love that. I'm pretty sure she was bisexual as well, although again I'm really fuzzy at this point, but it was so offhandedly mentioned that I'm not even positive about it, but I'm pretty sure she's like, yeah, this, like, girl I dated and stuff, like, so that's nice. It's just, like, very casual representation, which I appreciate. And this book just deals a lot with, like, class disparity. So he is really, Aiden is really, really aware of, like, the amount of privilege that he has, even though he's still, like, a struggling teacher and doesn't have a lot or whatever, but he gives a lot of his time to working in, what is the word I'm looking for? A place where they give, like, food and provide, like, resources to the community, and that's something that he's really, passionate about, is, like, food equality. And it just, like, talks about a lot of different stuff. It also definitely, like, I wonder if content warnings, I bet there's a good summary. So graphic: death of a parent, alcoholism, sexual assault, grief, murder, injury. There's moderate rape, sexual assault, adult/minor relationship, not between them, something else, violence, murder, alcoholism, blood, death of a parent, abandonment, addiction, animal death, grief, toxic friendship. Anyway, sexual harassment. So, like, it just, and those are the content warnings, but then what it ended up dealing with and the way that things were handled, I just ended up just really loving and appreciating. And I also just loved Juniper and Aiden's relationship and their banter, and he's, like, very, like, grumpy and she's very sunshine, but he's, I don't know, and he's just, like, very aware, but, like, I don't know. Anyway, I don't even know what I'm saying at this point, but I really, really loved this. I was just expecting it to be, like, fun and quirky and just, like, a fun, silly, good time. And it wasn't. It was, like, it, like, made me cry, and I can't tell you, like, some of the things that I loved the most about this, because it's, like, major spoilers. But unlike most romance books where I'm, like, happy with the end, and I'm like, okay, I'm good. Like, I don't need, like, a sequel. Like, I want a sequel with their relationship, with them, like, solving more murders together, and I don't know, I just, like, want more of both of them. And it's not. We're gonna get a different couple. And that is stupid. We should get more of them because they were great. Anyway, I really loved it a lot. It was so good. I just wasn't expecting it to go as hard as it did in like every way. But it wasn't, yeah, and like I would agree with this that it wasn't fast. It was like a medium paced book, and it was really funny. It was funny, and it did have lighthearted moments, but also it was emotional and it was sad. So, anyway, there we go. Hi Lindsay, welcome. So I read the Percy Jackson series when I was 14, and I read the first 4, and then I read like half of the 5th one, and then I stopped, and I didn't finish it. Because I was like pretty into the first ones. Like I gave them like maybe 3 or 4 stars. Like I enjoyed them, and then I kind of just like burnt out. So I was never like the hugest. But I don't like dislike them. I don't know. And then I tried to reread the first one maybe like 2 years ago, and the humor's just not quite for me, because Percy is just, he's a really young protagonist, and he just has a certain humor, and we're seeing the whole series from his perspective. It's like in first person from his perspective. So, but a lot of people really love it. So, obviously my perspective is not the popular one. So I would definitely say give it a try, because a lot of people really love it. And I did end up really liking the first like 4 when I read them. I had the first 4 on audiobook, and then I was trying to read the 5th one physically because I wasn't able to get it from audio from the library. My library didn't own the 5th one on audio, and so I was trying to read it physically, and I was just like, meh, and I kind of like skimmed it. But that tends to be a problem with me reading physically, is I just can't keep my attention as much. Even when I was a teenager. I have really enjoyed some of the Rick Riordan Presents novels, though, that are like written by other people but are like under his Presents line. And I'm definitely interested in watching the Percy Jackson show, movie, whatever is coming out next for Percy Jackson in visual media. Definitely interested in watching that because that looks really good. It's just not something that I'm interested in reading anymore, if that makes sense. But I definitely think you should try it, and if it works for you, I think you'll really enjoy the series. And if the humor doesn't work for you, then I would say the series probably isn't for you. The romance genre is so much deeper than when you started reading it 20 years ago. Yeah, I mean, and it depends on the book, obviously, but because it depends. There are some that I've like gone back and read that I'm like, this is trash. Like, what is this? And then there's some that I've gone back and read from 20 years ago that I'm like, this is the most like heartfelt, like sobbing. So, but I think there's a lot, just since there's so many more, like, since like people can self-publish, and since I mean, publishers are probably doing it for the wrong reasons, but since you can get like more diverse people published, you can get like a wider view of the world and stuff, and it's just like, that you can just get so much more. The genre has grown a lot. For the better, I would say. Anyway, I really love this. So, after all that rambling, I'm sorry, I don't know how to not talk for 20 years about a book. I just loved it so much. I just want to make sure that I'm really doing it justice, that you really understand how great it was. And I read this on the 30th. Oh, a lifetime ago. 30th. Oh, not June 30th, July 30th. Huh, can you imagine? Okay. And I just want, like how, Penny Reed did the Winston Brothers series, and then after the third book, she did like an offshoot series from just the third book that's following that couple, and they're like sort of solving crimes in their own series. I want like a series like that with this couple. It'd be so good. Because even their relationship is just going to continue to have a lot of banter and a lot of humor and a lot of like deep conversations and a lot of growth and a lot of development. Like, you can just tell. And I feel like they could do that while solving crimes together, and it would just be so good. Please Gracie Ruth. It's what I deserve. Okay, the Citadel. Oh, there's a bug. Okay, the Citadel of Weeping Pearls. So this is the second book that I've read in this world. It's like a lot of novellas. And I've got to admit, this book confused the shit out of me. I think I sort of got it by the end, but like, what the fuck? Some sci-fi. Okay, so I'm really in a sci-fi mood and era, and sci-fi is like my thing now, and I've loved so much sci-fi that I'm like, yeah, I'm a sci-fi reader. Sci-fi is one of my favorite genres. I love sci-fi so much. And then I read a book like this, and I'm like, I'm too stupid to read sci-fi. I don't even understand. So, I don't know. Why didn't this open? Okay. So, it's... Plus, I read it 2 weeks ago, so bear with me. Let me try to explain what this book is about. So, basically, there was this citadel, that there's like a bunch of different characters that we're following too. Mind you, this is like a 160-page novella. How am I this confused? I don't know. So one of the characters that we're following, her mom, she used to live in the Citadel, and her mom was in the Citadel, and her mom like sends her and her dad away. She doesn't understand why at the time, but then the Citadel vanishes. Just like poof, gone. Because there was like the person who was like in charge of the Citadel was like becoming a threat to like the Empress of, I don't know if it's like the whole, I guess it's probably not the whole universe, but of like this section of the universe. And so, and the Citadel is like, I don't know, this floating like space station thing, I guess. So the Empress was like sending spaceships after the Citadel because like the person in charge of it is like a threat, and so they just like disappear. And so then this daughter, whose like mom has been gone for like 20 years, because it's 20 years later now, is like have been trying to like figure out what happened to the Citadel, because like when the Empress's ships got there, it was like gone. Like they didn't destroy it, like it was just gone. And so then there's like a lot of like, I don't know, like matter bending, I think is what was going on. I don't know. Like I said, it really confused me. I think it took me like 70% through till I was kind of like, I think I understand, maybe sort of like, maybe like 20%. I don't know. And then we're also following some other people who work for the Empress. One of them is like the chief of police, and somebody else has like disappeared, and he's trying to find her. So it's like also like a mystery. And yeah, I don't know. I didn't hate it by any means, but what the fuck did I read? I couldn't tell you. I did enjoy it, but I just didn't understand it. So I think I'm going to give it 3 stars. If I would tell you where to start between the 3 books by this author that I've read, I would say this was definitely the most confusing to me and my poor little brain. So I would say Not to start here. The Tea Master and the Detective was probably my favorite, although it did also very much confuse me. And then I also read this one, which was more of like a fantasy mystery. It was like totally different world, like not the same world, genre, anything as that other series. That one is sci-fi, this one's fantasy, and this one like a mystery. And this one was very fun, but like totally different vibe. So I would say like either of those 2 places are a much better place to start, because that other one I was just like, I didn't understand, but I still liked it. I feel like I still need to read like sci-fi for like 10 more years and then try to come back to it. But like by the end I was like, okay, I think I sort of understand what's going on. But if I was explaining this to you like 2 days after I read it, maybe, but I read it 2 weeks ago and I don't understand. I don't remember. If I did understand it, I've forgotten it. Was that the worst summary and wrap-up of a book that I've ever given? Let me know. Just kidding, don't let me know that. Because it might be. Okay, this next one, though. Fucking so good. I loved it. Okay. So, this book, Nothing to See Here. I had such a good time with this one. This one is about this woman who... Here, I'll pull up the cover a little bit bigger in a second. 1, I'm giving it 5 stars. And then I'm going to just throw my date that I read it in here really quick. And then I'll go over to Storygraph. Oh, no, the 31st. Not the 30th, the 31st. Okay. So, Nothing to See Here. So this is about this woman who went to a kind of like prestigious like boarding school for a short amount of time. An incident happened, and after that, her life kind of fell apart, and now she's like, it's like years and years later. It's like, I don't know, 7 years later maybe, and she's like living at home with her mom, and she's just like never really done anything with her life. But this friend that she made there ends up asking her, like calling her, and is like, will you come? Hi, Elizabeth. Oh my gosh, Liz. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. I missed you 2 weeks ago, and then I wasn't here last week, so I missed you last week too. Oh my gosh. That's so funny. Lindsay, you need to change your name to Elizabeth right now. Also, did I ever say hi to you, Melody? Did I just ignore you? I said hi to you in my brain. Anyway. That's so funny. Everyone named Elizabeth loves me. Oh my god. Ugh. Oh, I forgot to complain about the other thing that made my life super fun the last 2 weeks, is that I also like strained like a tendon or muscle. I don't remember exactly. I did go to the doctor and they told me, but I forgot what they said. Like on top of my knee. And thankfully, you know, like it didn't like swell or bruise or like get like, it's not like too bad, but it's just been really like, at first it was painful. So basically it's like right on top of my kneecap, and the kind of pain like, so every time I like stand up or sit down, it's just like stabbing pain in my knee. Is really fun. But I'm past that point now. It's no longer stabbing pain. It hasn't been for like the last week. The last week has just been really stiff and sore. And it sucks. So I feel like very old because I'm like, oh, my knee. You were just thinking Lindsay is close enough to sounding like Elizabeth. Yeah, yes, you're accepted. Perfect. Oh, that is so funny. So many Elizabeths. It's excellent. And Lizzie Bennett is like one of the best characters ever, so good name. Anyway, that whole spiel was just because I was straightening out my knee and I was like, oh, I didn't complain about this yet. Anyway, so her friend calls her and is like, I have a job opportunity for you. And so she ends up going to her friend's like mansion, and her friend's husband is like in politics and is like trying to move up the ranks and stuff. Her friend has like a son, and then the job is that her friend's husband had a previous marriage, and that they ended up getting a divorce, and she recently passed, and she had 2 kids, so he had 2 kids, and so they're going to be coming to live with them, and so our main character's responsibility is to take care of these 2 kids. But then lo and behold, she ends up being told that they spontaneously combust and just like burst into flames. And yeah, that's everything I'm going to tell you about the plot. But I really, really loved this. And even here it doesn't say. I would have picked up this book a lot sooner if somebody had told me that it was gay. So I'm going to say that it's gay, just in case that is more incentive. Knowing that something's gay is always like, I don't know, like 120% more likely to make me pick it up. So it may be the same with you as well, and it's like, just knowing that it has like queer characters, I'm just like, oh yeah, for sure would rather read a book with queer characters than a book without queer characters, 100%. So I'm just gonna throw that out there. It's not like, and whenever I've said this to like 3 different people, I'm like, I wish I'd known this was gay. Why didn't you tell me? And they're like, because it's not important to the plot. And I'm like, I don't care that it's not important. I still want to know that the characters are gay. I want to know. So it's not like, it's a little bit important, but it's not like a central thing. Anyway, it's like magical realism. I would definitely say, like, check the content warnings for this one as well. There's, graphic suicide, fire injury, death of a parent, and child abuse. But I would maybe go deeper if you want to look into that. But I just loved every moment of this. Just completely inhaled it. I don't know what to say about it. I read it 2 weeks ago. And the last 2 weeks my brain has been fuzz. Perfect. Yes, you want to read it more now. It's like, it's not, I don't know. It's like, I'm just shocked that this isn't like LGBT marked on here. Like, I feel like if it has like a main may get, I don't know. Maybe because it's like, in order to be there, then it has to be like a plot point. But why does it have to be a plot point? Like, you can be the thing and it not be a plot point in your life, you know? Anyway, so I'm just like really surprised. What about on Goodreads? Is that highly marked on there? It's not. And I'm just like, please. It was just so gay. Anyway, but I really loved it. And yeah, like the children that she ends up taking care of, I loved them, and I loved the relationships, and I just loved the character is like morally gray, and it's just like a very interesting character to read from, and I really truly loved every second of reading it, and I really recommend it. And it was just a really weird book, and a great time reading it. Is nobody? It's only 64 people marked this as LGBT. And I'm perpetuating to it because I don't mark things, so I'm not marking it as LGBT, so I'm not helping, but that's just so weird. Anyway, I'll move on. I'll stop talking about it, but I really loved it. Okay. Technically, I'm currently reading Monster Friends, which is over there. I'll go grab it. Oh, it's so far, though, and I have to stand up on my bum knee. Ugh, but then I really started feeling, I read like 150 pages, and then I really started feeling crappy, so I stopped reading it. But I need to keep reading it. maybe I'll try to do that today, because I definitely, today, I feel like yesterday was the first day that I felt like I had the brain power to try to, like, physically try to read something again, and I didn't. So, today I might. Anyway, so this is Monster Friends, and it is about this main character who is house watching for his family, his like cousins, as they go on a trip. And then he ends up making friends with this monster. Anyway, I really love the art. Katie Van Dorn, really, really adore. But I was just so, and this monster has a lot, I don't know the pronouns, but they have so much anxiety and trauma about stuff, and I'm just really enjoying how that's going. I'm excited to see where it goes. But I also really love how they're drawn, because they're just like, this is like right in the first page. So here's story time. So this is the first page. Lovely, spooky, fun. Okay. Not really spooky, but like, just like, I don't know, great. Okay. I don't know if this is backwards or frontwards for you, so sorry if it's weird. It shouldn't be. But anyway, then his cousin, or aunt, or whoever is like, Reggie, here, can you reach these blankets? Choose any color you like. Glarp! And he grows. Like, he just... And from that second, on page 3, I was like, this book is for me. I love it. And then there's this whole family, like all the cousins and everybody living in their weird little burrow. And, it's so great. And, like, I can't portray just, like, how gorgeously vivid this is in person. Like, it's not really a spoiler because it's only like 30 pages in, but also you seeing it over like my shitty camera is not going to do it justice. But them being in like their little thing, and then they're gonna go outside and turning the page and it just being like the most just so beautiful, and they basically live in like a little hobbit hole. I love it so much. Anyway, so I really enjoyed the 150 pages that I read, like a lot, but and I found an Easter egg connected to Katie's other book, Crabapple Trouble, which I read last year and loved. Let's try to open. Which I read last year and loved. Anyway, there's an Easter egg. So they take place in the same world, I think, which is incredible. I love this. This is one of my favorite graphic novels. One of my favorite books I read last year. It's phenomenal. I love what it says about anxiety. Obviously, Katie must be somebody with anxiety because the way that they put it in all of their books is just... Anyway, really love this. I'll try to finish this tonight. That will be my reading goal. Because I was really loving it, but then felt like garbage and put it down. And then never picked it back up. And then Bad Cree. So I didn't get very far, and I'm not going to move it off my TBR because I don't want to not read it. I just didn't want to read it right then. My brain was hurting. I got 13 minutes into it. I tried. I got 13 minutes into it, and I just did not want to read it. I did not want to read I think there were like dying crows, and I think she was like having a dream where she was being like, it was realistic, and she was like, if she got like sustained injuries within the dream, she was coming out with that, and that however she fell asleep, that's how she went in. And so like the first time she was like sleeping naked, and she was like in the dream like naked and scared and all this stuff. You need to finish your audiobook. Why are you crying? Oh no. How long have you been reading it? And I don't know, it was just a lot, and I still want to read it. I'm not taking it off my TBR. I was just feeling sick. So, Black Wolf, a novel by Kathleen Kent. It's a CIA thriller. Oh gosh. Yeah, so I'm not taking it off my TBR. I just was not in the headspace for it right then. So I put it down, and I just like returned it to the library, and I was like, I just can't right now. So I'm going to put it, just like leave it on my TBR, and eventually I'll come back to it, and just start it over, because who knows what happened. But when did you start Black Wolf? And I'm not even going to mark that on my like book list here, because like I'm not even counting it as a DNF. Okay. Potty break. I'm gonna go to the restroom, go stretch your legs, grab a drink. I will be back in a minute, and then I'll finish talking about the last like 2 books that I read. 3 books that I read? I read a couple books. hasn't been sitting on your TBR or not your TBR, on your currently reading for forever. I was looking back, so I've been pretty consistent in reading like 1 book at a time, or 2 books, 3 books max. I just haven't done a lot of like hopping back and forth. But I was like looking at some of my old some content that I filmed that I've like never uploaded and stuff, where I had like done like reading vlogs and stuff, where like years ago, like 2019, 2020, where I'd be reading like 8 books at once. And my brain just does not like that anymore. Which it might in the future again, but right now I'm like, I can't do it. Okay. Venomous. Oh no! No! I ended up really liking this one. I don't think it would have gotten... Oh. I thought it really would just show up first thing, but... Oh, there it is. I was like, but apparently that name isn't unique enough. I thought I would... I don't think me reading it spread out over such a long amount of time hurt it. I think it would have gotten the same rating anyway, which I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I did really like it, because I was thinking, I was like, would this have gotten a higher rating if... What day did I finish this? Sorry, I don't even know where I'm at. Yeah, the 8th. Would have this have gotten a higher rating if I had like been able to actually like read it and concentrate and not feel so horrible? But no, I think it would have gotten 4 stars no matter what. Although I did really like it, so the author was just talking about how Earth's deadliest creatures mastered biochemistry. Yeah, so wherever they may fall on the planet, both geographically or like in depth or whatever, so like deep sea creatures or ants or platypus or whatever, and I really, really liked it, but I don't think it could have gotten 5 stars, because I never like, I don't know, when it's like a 5-star nonfiction, it's just like grips my soul, and this one didn't do that. But I did really like it, and it was also really good timing, because obviously she was talking about like jellyfish and octopus and like sea urchins and other sea creatures, and kind of the thing that has been tickling my brain the last 2 weeks and has been like keeping me going, has been this game called Dave the Diver. Let me bring it up. And it's... Oh, I'm kind of afraid to watch the trailer, because it's I heard somebody say that you don't actually see a lot of the stuff in the trailer until like really far into the game. But I've been watching a YouTuber called Gab Smulders play it. And love it. Love her. Love the game. It's a perfect matchup. And anyway, so she first posted it like a month ago, but I just started watching it like a week ago, and it truly has kept me going. Anyway, it is so fun. It's like, I don't know, if you don't play games, none of this will like mean anything, but it's like a rogue like restaurant management, like farming sim. It's not too heavy in the farming, but you're like catching fish and then like selling them in a restaurant that you're managing, like choosing which dishes to put on the menus, but then also there's a ton of story, and it's so fun. And it's like the first, like, I don't know, like 3-4 hours are like, they're good, but they're not like incredible. But then the further and further you get, it just gets better and better and better, and there's more and more gameplay, and it's always constantly introducing new stuff. The music is phenomenal. All the cutscenes, phenomenal. It's like my brainworm right now, like, cannot stop thinking about this game. I even started playing it on Steam. So anyway, this is my current obsession, is Dave the Diver, and if you want to watch somebody play it who's just really relaxing and fun, Gab Smulders, highly recommend. I wonder if
an interesting little human with a precarious love for the sea.
Oh, I don't think I wanna. No, I don't like that. Oh my god, it's so good. Okay, anyway, that's my recommendation, is this game. Sorry if that was really loud. Or if you couldn't hear it at all. I don't know how this works. But this is my current obsession. Anyway, so it was really timely, though, is because you're like catching all of these, and so like every time I was catching one in the game, I was like, oh my gosh, I just learned about this, and like how poisonous this is, and like how quickly you could die if you touch this. So that was really fun, and it gave it an extra layer of like funness that like has stuck with me, that even though, you know, they're creatures that could kill you, it was fun. Finish this on the 8th. Anyway, Dave the Diver is my current brain, but I didn't actually start playing it until just a few days ago. At first I was just watching Gab play it because I didn't feel up to doing anything, but then I felt a little bit better the last couple days, and so I was like, yes, I will play this, and I'm obsessed. And the cutscenes are so good. It's such a good game. Okay. Anyway, and then I read Briar Rose, which is a Sleeping Beauty retelling. Which I have read the synopsis before, and I do remember thinking when I read the synopsis, this is not young adult. This is not young adult. The main character's like 23. This is not young adult. What the fuck? Anyway, maybe that's what it's published as? I would not call. Well, because she's 23. This isn't young adult. I'm so confused. Anyway, so I did read the synopsis and I was like, I saw something about it maybe being Holocaust or something, but then I kind of forgot about it, so I started reading it just being like, oh yeah, it's a Briar Rose, it's Sleeping Beauty. Like, there's literally barbed wire on the cover. Anyway, totally forgetting. And it's like really dark and traumatic. And a lot more than I was expecting. Not that that's a bad thing, but when your brain is hurting and your body just feels terrible and you're sleeping like constantly, I just don't know. My brain was just like, what the fuck are you what are you doing? This is just not what I was expecting. Anyway, so basically this follows our main character Becca and her grandma Gemma, they just call her Gemma, is just like constantly telling her and her two sisters, the three of them, the story of Sleeping Beauty, of Briar Rose, constantly, like every day, same wording, like verbatim, over and over and over and over and over, and Becca ends up really, really loving it, but then the two other ones, it almost felt very like Beauty and the Beast in this, that, you know, there's the two ugly sisters that, you know, just love the money and the wealth and just want the material things, and then there's the lovely sister. I guess that could be Cinderella as well, but it felt Beauty and the Beast to me. When I first started reading it, I was like, is this Beauty and the Beast? Where's the Sleeping Beauty? I'm confused. She's telling me a story of Sleeping Beauty, but it feels very Beauty and the Beast with the two sisters who were like, because they're grown up at this point, and like one's a lawyer and one's something, and they're very like material, and they're like, we don't have time for grandma's stupid stories. And anyway, she ends up dying, Gemma, of old age, and then before she dies, she ends up making Becca promise, like, you'll end up, and she started saying this more and more, is that she kept saying, I was like the princess, I was Briar Rose, I got kissed awake, and so when she ends up dying, she ends up making Becca promise that you'll go find, like, my castle, and go find all the people who are still in the castle asleep because they never woke up. And so she's like, okay, grandma, like, not really believing it, but also having this, like, childlike belief of, like, wanting to believe it, and because she's heard this story 1,000+ times, And so then she ends up finding like some like of her grandmother's like paperwork and possessions, and since she is like a newspaper reporter, she ends up starting to do some like sleuthing and tracking down some leads, and ends up like tracking down her grandmother's story. And like I said, it ends up being a Holocaust story, and it just ended up being really brutal, but it was, yeah, it was super heartbreaking, but I did really like it. I'm gonna give it 4 stars. It was just taxing on my poor brain. I just found it to be very, so we're told, so the story of Sleeping Beauty, this is like something that I didn't like about it. The story of Sleeping Beauty ended up being told throughout the whole book in these like tiny little chunks of Gemma telling it throughout Becca's like entire, like just random times throughout her growing up. So she could have been like 5 here, but then she could have been like 17 here, and then like 12 here, just like different times throughout her life in different sections when she was telling it. And I think it was meant to feel like endearing, and I don't know. I don't know, make us just get like a cozy, comfy, like family vibe. But I ended up just feeling like really, it just ended up feeling really repetitive, and I just like wanted to be told the fucking story and not wanted to be told, like, it just had so many interruptions, and it was like Gemma would tell this tiny bit of the story, but then like her stupid sister would interrupt, or her friend would interrupt, or something, like the story would always get interrupted in that instance of the telling, so we wouldn't end up hearing the rest of the story from that point. And then in the next section we hear a little bit more, and then that section it would get, and that time it would get interrupted, and then the next time we'd hear a little bit more, and that time it would get interrupted. And it wasn't just the story being told, like it wasn't just like, I don't know, a paragraph of the story at the beginning of each chapter. It was like this whole, like, this person said this, and this person said this, and it's like this whole, like, back and forth about, like, in this time when Gemma's telling this story, Becca's 12, and she had a friend who was this, and blah blah blah, and this is why the story got interrupted this time, and blah blah blah. And it was just like, that ended up feeling really repetitive and frustrating, and I didn't enjoy that part. And definitely brought down my enjoyment. But the thing that I did enjoy was like, when, sorry, I forgot her name, Becca, when she's like actually like tracking down all like the journalistic like investigations, and like tracking down all these leads and finding people to interview who like had met her grandmother at this point and this point, and like finding all this information stuff. That part I really, really loved, and like got so sucked in when she was like going to these different places and interviewing these different people and finding more and more information. I was just like totally gripped. And then we kept like getting interrupted by these like little bits, and if it was just the story that was fine, but it was all these like extra dialogue about like why Gemma didn't finish the story that time, and it was just like, please God, just finish the story. Anyway, I ended up giving it 4 stars. I did like it, but I don't think I've read a lot of fairy tale retellings of, I mean, I've read a lot of fairy tale retellings. I don't think I've read a lot of Sleeping Beauty retellings. I'm trying to think if I've read many more than this. I mean, my number 1 favorite is the one by Gail Carson Levine. I think it's like the 4th book in her like fairy tale retelling series. Princess Sonora and the Long Sleep, or whatever it's called. That one's my favorite. But that one's just totally different vibe. Super, super funny and goofy and ridiculous. But yeah, I definitely want to read some more because I don't have a good reference for this fairy tale retelling. But I'm also glad I finally read this book because I've had it on my Goodreads TBR since May 7th, 2011. So over 12 years. So I would say that I'm really glad I finally read it. Also, I wish I had the physical copy, but like the author's note at the end, stab in the heart. Ugh, Jane Yolen. That was like jaw hit the ground. I was like, oh my gosh. She I mean, if I tell you what she said, it's like spoilers of the books, but she said some stuff that was very bold, but very true. And I was impressed by that. Anyway. Also, I didn't look this up this time, but I'm pretty sure Jane Yolen is Jewish because I read a different book by Jane Yolen and I was like, is Jane Yolen Jewish? And I looked it up and I thought she might have been based off of that. I kind of want to switch to a different version. Yes. Yes, she is. So, obviously, really important to be hearing books by Jewish writers. I think it was when reading The Emerald Circus, I think there was a story in there that had, I don't remember what it was, but it was something, and I was like, wanting to look it up, or I don't know. Anyway. So I did already know that, but I wanted to double check. Okay. The Unmarked Witch. So this, I tried to start reading after I finished Briar Rose, and do I even want to mark it on my Goodreads? How far did I get? Where did I put my phone? Oh, there it is. I did not get far. %, but it's a long audiobook, so I did get 49 minutes into it, but It was not interesting. The writing was like really heavy-handed. It was very much telling us and like info dumping super hard. And that made it very boring. Like, it was so info dumpy. But I only got 6% in. I don't really feel like marking that on my Goodreads. But here's the cover in case you wanted to know what it looked like. But I am going to put it on my spreadsheet. So basically, what I read of this, the main character is... So it starts with her looking at the hanging dead body of her coven leader, because there is this like guy who is 5493. I don't remember who he is, but he's getting bolder, and he's like going around like murdering witches, and witches are like prosecuted in this world, that they're like getting singled out and murdered. And of course our main character is like a special witch, where other witches have like special witch markings on their skin, but she doesn't have witch markings when every other witch does. And so a lot of people are like, you don't deserve to be a witch, you're not a real witch. And then I don't know, there was definitely more, but it was just, yeah, I don't know. It was very info dumpy and very telling us about so much. And I did not care for it. Womp. But a book that I did love. I'm so glad I finally read this. Is The Black Death. Oh no. So it's the same author as that one. So I read this just yesterday. Gave it 5 stars. It was so good. Sorry, bear with me. May 20th, 2022. Oh, okay, that makes sense. I was wondering when I was reading it. I was like, when was this written? It feels a little out of date. Just because she talks about COVID a lot in it. And the things that she was saying felt like they were written like a year ago. So that makes sense. So, okay, yeah. But I loved it. It was so interesting. Let me just finish marking it on Storygraph. So originally, back in 2016, there was a... How long is this audiobook? It doesn't say. Let's try to find it. Back in 2016, there was a 12-hour lecture from the Great Courses about the Black Death. The Black Death, the world's most devastating plague. And when that came out, it was as accurate as it could be for the time, but when it came out, there was also a lot of new technology coming out, and that if it had came out a year later, it would have been very different. That she couldn't get a lot of the stuff into the course, that because it was just coming out, like some of the research and information. But it was really interesting. I ended up reading it in 2020, I think. I remember where, July 2020. I remember where I was when I read it, so I was like, that makes sense. Even though my brain was very traumatized at that time, this one stuck with me. So it was like a 12-hour lecture about the Black Death, and it was super interesting, and I remember really, really loving it. So then when I saw that this came out, even though it came out a year ago, I just saw it like a month ago, and I was like, new lessons from recent research. I was so excited. And basically what she does is that she makes some corrections. She also looks at stuff as from a viewpoint in a world where there's a current pandemic going on, because that was something that, like, there hadn't been like such a devastating worldwide pandemic since the Black Death, so it's just like having that different like lens to look at it from, and then just like all the new research through the lens of the COVID-19 pandemic, and then just like an update and corrections, lots of corrections. And Dorsey Armstrong is not afraid to say, I was wrong, this information was wrong, and here's the correct information. I really loved this. I wouldn't read it without, or listen to it without listening to the first set of lectures, because you just, unless you already know a ton about the Black Death. I guess if you've already read a lot about the Black Death and you already just know a lot, maybe just this little bit about new research would be interesting to you. But without like knowing like a pretty strong basis about the Black Death. Anyway, very interesting. And I really, really loved it, and this was so fun to read, which is weird to say, because you're like, yay, all these people died, like, yay, but it was, I think Dorsey is just a phenomenal, lecturer, and I really enjoyed this, and this also, since I was clicking on it, this also makes you really want to go listen to some of her other lectures. Medieval myths and mysteries, hell yeah. The medieval world, why not? King Arthur history and legend, fuck yeah. Like, I want to read all of these. That sounds incredible. So I wonder what the most recent one is. Well, that would have been this one, which is not showing up. So... Oh, and I already have Sir Thomas Malory's Morte d'Arthur, a new modern translation. Which I guess she translated. I don't know if I have this translation on my TBR. I just probably have Morte d'Arthur on my thing, but I guess she has a translation, which is super interesting. Gender in the chivalric community and Malory's Morte d'Arthur. Super interesting. I just think she's a really cool person too. Like, what an interesting field of study. And she admits that there's so much that she doesn't know, and where she needs help from, like, other scholars with other specialties and stuff. Anyway, really liked this. I'm so glad I mean, it's not that I finally got to it. I mean, it is, because it came out over a year ago, but I only knew about it, like, I finally got to it, because it came out a year ago, but I only knew about it a month ago, so I read it, like, as soon as I found out about it, and I'm so glad I did. It made me very happy. This was just so fun to read. I listened to it while catching fish in Dave the Diver. It was very soothing to my soul. And that's it. That's all I've read. Which is a lot, to be fair. I was like, I haven't read anything. Well, 3 of them I read before I started feeling so sick, and then I've read 4 things. Well, 3 things since, and then I DNF'd something. But you know me, I can just talk forever, so, not really... I don't know. It's not really saying... I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm saying. But... Now that I have finished rambling, endlessly rambling about books, I would love to add some books to my Goodreads TBR that I've been meaning to add. And that's not true, because a bunch of them I've just taken screenshots of in the last week, because although I haven't been reading, I've still been consuming book content, and I still work at the library and at a bookstore, and I still see books every day. I don't think I'm gonna plan... I don't know what I want to do about planning my TBR. I would say, so I'm currently reading The 13th Child by Patricia C. Reedy. Oh, I can delete the Unmarked Witch because I DNF'd that, so that's off my TBR. The Skull. Oh, The Art Thief. I didn't take a screenshot of that, I guess. Or I just didn't see it. I guess I didn't take a screenshot. I also tried to start reading The Art Thief. And I must have also gotten like 10 minutes in, and I was like, I am not in the mood for this, and I returned it to the library. So, we're not going to count that. That must have also been on Friday or Saturday. But The Skull, I would like to do that tonight as well. Monster Friends, I need to finish that. The Skull, the reason I need to finish that is because it's due at the library in 2 days. So, if I don't get to it before it's due, I will be very sad. Oh wait, I didn't return The Art Thief. I got 8 minutes in. 2%. I'm gonna return that right now. I'm not in the mood for it. There we go. And then the next thing that is due is Nothing But Blackened Teeth. So I'm gonna say The 13th Child. I want to read that. I'm gonna try to get to 3 hours. And then Nothing But Blackened Teeth. Also, I don't know who it was, but someone in my family borrowed The Only Good Indians. And I kind of want to read that. But also, I don't know if I want to read 2 horrors back to back. But it's not due until the 20th. Oh, I do want to say as well, I'm going to be out of town. Add books, because why not? Okay, I'll add the books. I will be out of town this weekend, so cannot stream. But I was thinking I might stream on Friday, because I don't work this Friday. So I might stream this Friday instead. Probably during the day. And I think if I do, I'm going to try to set up the stream on Thursday to tell when I would be live on Friday. So anyway, but it would probably be, try to keep it to a shorter stream, like 2 hours or less. Anyway, somebody borrowed The Only Good Indians. But I don't know if I want to read 2 back to back. But the reason why that's important is that I'm going to be out of town. So I'm probably not going to get to read, like, at all on Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. So I would need to read it, like, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I would have, like, 2 days reprieve if I do want to get to it. I did borrow The Sorcerer of Wild Deeps. Of the which is just a novella. It's only 5 hours. Okay. And I also borrowed Confessions. And The Horrible Bag of Terrible Things. Yeah, I don't think I'll have time for The Only Good Indians. But that does give me enough to try to read until Friday. And then after that, I'll see how this reading is going. Plus, I need to try to get all these other ones back on. I just have other books that have come up that are due at the library, so I need to prioritize them before they're due. Especially since I won't be able to read over the weekend. And then the next book that's due at the library isn't until the 24th, so I do have time to get to it. But that's Camp Damascus. I borrowed a bunch of books that aren't on my Magical Readathon TBR, so I need to fit them onto my Magical Readathon TBR, so I'm probably going to be switching out some of the books that I initially planned, so we'll see how it goes. But, whoops, that's not good. Anyway, just making more work for myself. Okay, I'm going to go to the bathroom again because I've been drinking so much water. And then I'm going to add books to my Goodreads TBR and enable you to add books to your Goodreads TBR as well. And it's going to be super fun. You just wait. It's gonna be really fun. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay. Here we go. No. It's like trying to send it to someone. I don't want to send this picture to someone. Stop. Alright. The first book is A History of Fear. Oh, and I already have something with similar title that have part of that title on my thing, so it won't come up, so let's try it again on a new tab. Okay, A History of Fear by Luke Dumas. Oh, yes, okay. So, this was kind of described as like a not scary horror. Is Red, White, and Royal Blue out? Is it a thing? I didn't know that. So no, I haven't because I didn't know. What is that? I mean, I know what that is, but I mean, is it a show? Is it a movie? Oh, it's a movie. It's rated R. Oh no. Yeah, I literally didn't. It came out a month ago. I haven't heard a single person talk about this. Yeah, I had no idea that it was out. That's so funny. Okay. No. I don't know. I didn't love the book, so I don't know if I might watch it, but I don't watch stuff that often. So it's not like something that I would it's more like something that I would probably panic watch. Not I don't know how to explain this. So it's like when panic, like my brain so if I'm not being stimulated by something, I start feeling really depressed. And then I start panicking because like I don't want to feel depressed, obviously. So if nothing else can keep me interested or stimulated, that's when I start watching movies. It's like books or YouTube or stitching or whatever. Like I have those are like my priorities, and then like movies or shows are like far below that. And they're like when my brain goes into panic mode and it's like nothing else is stimulating my brain, I'm gonna start becoming super depressed because nothing is stimulating my brain. That's when I watch movies or shows. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I do. So I'm like, this isn't something that I would typically just like pick up just to watch, but maybe, because I have been wanting to watch some more stuff while stitching recently. I've been watching a lot of Twitch streams and YouTube. 12 Dogs at Christmas. I've seen that at the library, I think. I will definitely add it to my list. I literally have not seen a single person talk about this. I have a really long list of movies that I want to watch, but don't, because I don't watch movies. I will add it to the list. Yeah, and I didn't love the book. I gave it 3 stars. I liked it okay, but I didn't get the hype around the book. The 12 Dogs at Christmas. I dropped my phone. Ugh. Looking at this list of movies that I want to watch is really depressing. I haven't even watched Heartstopper yet. And you don't know because I wasn't streaming or posting videos a year ago, but Heartstopper had like my whole brain like when it came out. I watched it so many times. I just loved it so much. And And I haven't even watched the second season yet, so I'm so slow on watching stuff. But I do plan on starting it tonight. And I added this one to the list. Okay, so A History of Fear was described as like a non-suspenseful, like a non-scary horror, because you kind of know how it's going to end at the beginning. But it's very, very interesting, apparently. Anyway, very interested in reading it. What next? Oh, The Beautiful Ones. This might already be on my TBR, but I just wanted to make sure. Oh, yes. I think oh, no, it's not. And it's a different... I didn't realize that this was the same book. I've seen both of these covers. I didn't realize that this was published by Tor. Okay, totally adding this to my TBR. It's like historical fiction romance. My Name is Marina's. It was talking about this, and it says great romances are for fairy tales, and Hector's hiding the truth from Nina and hiding a truth from Nina and himself that threatens to end their courtship. It's a charming tale of love and betrayal and the struggle between comfortability and passion, set in a world where scandal is a razor sharp weapon. You went to see the Meg 2. I didn't realize there was a Meg 2. I didn't see Meg 1. I've never seen Jaws. I've never seen most movies because I just don't watch them very often. I haven't seen Barbie yet, even though I really want to. Just movie theaters give me panic attacks. So I really want to see it, but unfortunately I cannot. Sorry. I'm trying to find... Okay, next book. Forged by Blood. By Igbor Okosan? So it is a young adult, which makes me a little trepidatious. But it's the first book, and it's a debut author. Poignant duology inspired by Nigerian mythology, full of magic and emotion, highly atmospheric, complex world in which a young woman fights to survive a tyrannical society, having everything stripped away from her, and seeks vengeance for her mother's murder and spilled blood of her people. I just heard people talking about this, and it sounds very good. But also it sounds very brutal. But I want to give it a try. I'm going to add it to my TBR. And it's a debut author, which is awesome. Your nails are painted Barbie pink. That would be perfect. My hair is still pink, so that would be perfect. It would be so perfect. We could go together, except that we live like 30 hours away from each other. I know. That's one thing that I'm like, I can't go to Barbie because I don't have any pink clothes. Like, my hair's pink, so I guess that's enough. But I'm like, I don't have anything pink. Okay, so this book, I think, looks really cool. Oh, I can't spell. Rubicon. Rubicon by J.S. Dews. Sergeant Adrian Valero wants to die. She can't. After enduring a traumatic resurrection for the 96th time, Valero is reassigned to a Special Forces unit and outfitted with cutting-edge virtual intelligence aid. They could turn the tide in the war against intelligent machines, dedicated to assimilation or destruction of humanity. When her is that 6 or VI? Suddenly achieves sentience, I guess VI. Valero is drawn into the machinations of an enigmatic major who's hell-bent on ending the war by any means necessary. I don't think I want to read that. I like the cover, so I took a picture of the cover. I saw that it was like a book by Tor, and I liked the cover, and I like that it says Live, Die, Reboot. But that does not sound interesting to me. So, I will move on. And I'm pretty sure that I already have this book on my TBR, but I just want to make sense. Because a lot of times I think that I have a book on my TBR, and then I don't, and then I'm like, oh shit. And then I forget about it. Yeah, The Terraformers by Annalee Newitz. Already have that on my TBR, so we are good. Okay. Same thing with this one. I'm pretty sure I already have this on my TBR, but I just wanted to make sure. But I'm pretty sure I do. Strange and Stubborn by Foz Meadows. I've got to, right? Yeah. Okay. Sorry, this is kind of rapid fire because I'm like, I already have these. Okay, I think this cover is fun, but that's not the reason. Oh. I didn't realize. So I guess Tor, I think it... I saw a different cover of this. I didn't realize that this was this. I saw a totally different cover of this. I didn't realize this was so short. And I didn't realize that this was so old. No, where's the cover? This is the cover that I saw. And I was like, this looks like a weird, silly romp. What is this? The Dispatcher by John Scalzi. One day, not long from now, it becomes almost impossible to murder anyone. 999 times out of 1,000, anyone who is intentionally killed comes back. How? We don't know, but it changes war, crime, daily life. Tony Valdez is a dispatcher, a licensed, bonded professional whose job it is to humanely dispatch those whose circumstances put them in death's crosshairs, so they can have a second chance to avoid the Reaper. But when a fellow dispatcher and former friend is apparently kidnapped, Tony learns that there are some things that are worse than death, and that some people are ready to do almost anything to and that some people are ready to do almost anything to avenge what they see as a wrong. It's a race against time for Valdez and his friends before it's too late, before not even a dispatcher can save him. And I guess there's 3 of them. Okay. I mean, I've definitely seen this cover. I'm pretty sure Chris owns this. I think it was like a Kindle free deal at some point. Interesting. You pre-ordered The Witches Back from Audible because it sounds so dang cute. I don't know. There's like so many books with this title. Okay, this one comes out in a few days, so this might be it. Love is a hex of a thing. Former childhood sweethearts fake a relationship in this charming, witchy rom-com. There's nothing wrong with being a wallflower. Not to Emmeline Bluewater, anyway. Emma may have been born into a witch society, but her days of trying to fit in where she doesn't belong are over. They ended 7 years ago, when the man she'd hoped to marry left town without a word. She's much happier now, living a delightfully mundane human life in Chicago, and running her bar Toil and Trouble until Bastian True Note walks through the door and announces that he wants her back. Bastian, is that how you say that? Bastian had his reasons for leaving, even if he can't tell Emma what they are now. Now to win Emma's heart, he's got to face down an adorably goofy dog familiar, a best friend who's all too eager to hit him with a carefully aimed hex, and a woman who's far from the meek witch he remembers. Magical contracts aren't easily broken, but as far as Emma's concerned, not even a marriage of convenience will have her falling under Bastian's spell again. This cover is really cute. Oh, that is so blurry. Why is that such bad quality? Oh, there it is. Look how cute that is. I love the work. Oh, there's a little mushroom. Look at the little mushroom. I love it. Oh, that's bewitched, betrothed, bewitched, bothered, and betrothed. So I'm confused. So they're a marriage of convenience, but they were dating before. Have I read this author before? Playboy Genie. Oh no. That cover is so cute. Okay, sorry. Okay. Oh, this. Okay, so Allie Hazelwood. I tried to read The Love Hypothesis. I did not like it. I have not tried to read anything else by her since. But next year, Bride by Allie Hazelwood. It's like a vampire werewolf shifter romance, I think. And look at this cover. She's wearing like a sparkly jumpsuit. Doesn't that look so fun? Misery Lark, the only daughter of the most powerful vampire councilman of the Southwest, is an outcast again. Her days of living in anonymity among the humans are over. She has been called upon to uphold a historic peacekeeping alliance between the vampires and their mortal enemies, the Wares. And she sees little choice but to surrender herself in the exchange again. Wearers are ruthless and unpredictable, and their alpha, Lo Moreland, is no exception. He rules his pack with absolute authority and not without justice, and unlike the Vampire Council, not without feeling. It's clear from the way he tracks Misery's every movement that he doesn't trust her. If only he knew how right he was. But Misery has her own reasons to agree to the marriage of convenience. 2 of them in a row. Reasons that have nothing to do with the politics or alliances, and everything to do with the only thing she's ever cared about. And she's willing to do whatever it takes to get back what's hers, even if it means a life alone in Were territory, alone with the wolf. Not released yet, doesn't come out till February. But I'm really excited about it. Yeah, not interested in anything else by Allie Hazelwood, but maybe paranormal Allie Hazelwood is the Allie Hazelwood for me. Okay. Dark Woods Deep Woods Deep Water. Dark Woods Deep Water. Doesn't come out till later this year. Isn't this cover gorgeous? Look at that. Oh, it's so beautiful. Okay. Its genre tags are fantasy, gothic, horror, fiction. In the depths of a remote forest, an enchanted castle preys on unwary travelers. The servants of the goddess Morana sacrifice to their dark mistress every soul who crosses its threshold. One terrible night, 3 people who should never have met find themselves trapped there. A spoiled lady escaping an unwanted marriage, an aging warrior prince on a deadly mission, and a resourceful rogue caught up in a botched heist. As their destinies entwine and the dawn approaches, the solution to the castle riddle becomes clear. If they want to escape, one of them must die. A dark fantasy tale inspired by Slavic folklore, Dark Woods Deep Water is a debut novel by Croatian author Jelena Duanto, set in an intrinsically imagined world that staggers the line between fairy tale and brutality. This novel will appeal to fans of Catherine Arden and Naomi Novik, as well as lovers of classic gothic fiction. Doesn't that sound so good? Doesn't come out till September. Adding that to my want to read. You do like The Sounds of the Bride, but can't you pull it off? I don't know. I've only tried one book by her, and I gave up like 10% in because it was very non-consensual. I did not like the non-consent. The aggressive non-consent. I did not like it. And it was like so cute and so quirky that she just like kisses him without permission. And he's like, no, I don't want to kiss you. And she's like, just kiss me. No. But you know, people can grow, people can learn, people make mistakes, and maybe Bride will be like the best thing ever. I hope it's really campy and fun. This sounds amazing. I hope it's so good. Ugh, it looks so good. I love that cover. Who is this cover artist? That's something I need to know. Look at this cover. Together We Rot. It's young adult, which instantly makes me not want to read it. But, sorry, I'm so judgy. I do like some young adult, but she's only 18. Or he's only 18. Not even. A teen girl looking for the truth about her missing mother forms a reluctant alliance with her former best friend in exchange for hiding him from his cult-leading family. Yeah, I don't really want to read that, but I'm obsessed with this. Look at that. That's really creepy. What a great cover. Together We Rot. What a great title. Okay. This next book. The Price of Thorns. Which has an excellent cover as well. Why does this have some weird watermark? No. So you can't even see it. Let me see if I can find a better cover online. No. I don't mean the Prince of Thorns. I mean the Price of Thorns. It won't even show me the Price of Thorns. And there's no good quality pictures of this cover. Yeah, so I don't know if you can see, but there's like a little like stoat, ferret, weasel. What are they called? Are they called marmots? What are they called? How do you spell stoat? Apparently not like that. Oh, moose family of Musteliae. Something of that. One of those. And it's really cute. How do you spell stoat then? Stoat. Like that. Aren't they so cute? Don't you think stoats are freaking adorable? Look how cute they are. Look at. So cute. Anyway. So this cover has one of them. And it's adorable. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. The cover is great, but this book has like some kind of pre-proof cover on it. Okay. Now that we've talked about that for 5 minutes. In this land where stories are as much a currency as gold or silver, secrets, the stories you don't tell, you also have their price. Stories, the secrets you don't tell, also have their price. Divvy, the thief, keeps many secrets, having left his home for the Thieves' Guild, then having left the Thieves' Guild involuntarily for a life alone. His fortune changes the day Bella, a mysterious woman in an ancient dress, hires him for a nigh impossible somebody needs to rewrite this blurb because it makes no sense. For a nigh impossible to steal back the kingdom she claims is her own. If Nivi is equal to this epic task, surely he will be admitted back to his proper I can't say that word, in the Thieves Guild. But Bella has secrets of her own, and her quest is not what it appears to be. As Nivi uncovers some of the truths behind what he dismissed as ancient stories at Bella's improbable connection to those tales, he realizes that the journey is more dangerous than he could have dreamed. If he survives this adventure, merely stealing a kingdom couldn't hold a candle to the rest of the story. That blurb, I think, was not good and was very confusing, but I do think it has potential, and I'm not gonna hold it against the book. I'm still gonna add it to my TBR. To not released yet, and it's the same publisher that has done a lot of Kingfisher's books, like basically anything that's set in like her rat world. World of the Rat is published by this publisher. Also, the Magical Baking book, also published by this publisher, Argyle Press. Anyway, so they have good taste because T. Kingfisher's like fantasy books. But yeah, Sword Heart, The Clockwork Boys, or whatever it's called. So that series, like all the Paladin books, all by this publisher. Okay. This next one is called Moving the Millers. Oh gosh, when does this come out? Or did it already come out? When is this book from? I think it's new. Yeah, it came out 2 months ago. Moving the Millers Minnie Moore's Mind Mansion, a true story. It's only 56 pages. It's like a children's picture book by Dave Edgars, illustrated by Julia Sarda. They spin a quirky historical event into a whimsical and tallish true tale of American ingenuity. It all started when John Minnie Moore built a mine in Idaho and sold it to Englishman Henry Miller. Then Henry married a local lass named Annie and built her a mansion, hence the Miners Minnie Moore's Mine Mansion. After Henry died and Annie was hoodwinked, losing all but the mansion, she and her son took to raising pigs in the yard, as some are wont to do, but the town wanted those pigs out. Who could have guessed that Annie and her crew would remove the whole mansion instead, rolling it away slowly on logs while she and her son were still living in it. Narrated with metafictional flair, this delightfully illustrated picture book is proof positive that nonfiction can be as lively and artful as any storybook. Anyway, it looks great. And there is an audiobook, but I'm going to put it in no audio because I definitely want to make sure I grab the physical book, even if I do listen to it, because I want to follow along. It sounds so good. Planting Clues: How Plants Solve Crimes by David J. Gibson. This fascinating book takes the reader on a journey through the roles of plants, including algae and fungi, in legal cases. These legal cases range from forensic applications where botanical evidence can link a suspect to a crime scene or a victim to a suspect in cases where plants themselves can be the subject of a crime or misadventure. In the latter cases, plants may be poached, illegally traded and trafficked, used as poisons, or illicitly used, i.e. drugs such as cocaine. Botanical evidence has been important in bringing a number of high-profile murderers such as Ted Bundy, Ian Huntley, the 2002 Shoham murders, and Bruno Hauptmann, the 1932 Baby Lindbergh kidnapping, to trial. These applications of forensic botany capture the public interest. Consider, for example, the fascination with Agatha Christie's murder mysteries involving real plant poisons, such as digitals from foxgloves. Digitalis, from foxgloves. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. The variety and value of botanical evidence, including leaf fragments, woody autonomy, pollen and spores, plant toxins, and DNA, is summarized through 8 chapters. This book appeals to general readers interested in the botany underlying true crime. I feel like this one could be a hit or a miss. I feel like I would either start reading it and I would love it, or I would like DNF it after like 50 pages. But I'm gonna give it a try because I feel like I said it could be a really big hit. I think it just depends on if the writing is any good, which it could not be. Who knows? Okay, the next book is Crafted with Pride. So it's queer craft and activism in contemporary Britain. It doesn't come out until September. I already know I want to read this one. But it's a collection of critical essays, oral histories, and creative responses that explore queer craft and the material cultures of LGBTQ+ activism in Britain since the 1980s. There's a long history of using craft and DIY processes to explore identities and encourage social change and political change. Yet these stories remain undocumented and insufficiently researched. Anyway. Sounds super interesting, totally want to read it, and I follow one of the people who is going to be one of the contributors, and that's how I heard about it, and I absolutely want to read it. Sounds amazing. Okay. Well, I got through like half of the books that I added to my TBR in the last week. Or last 2 weeks, I mean. I'm always adding so many, and I never add them to my Goodreads, and it's such a problem. Something else, there's a book that I bought from a local author, and I keep meaning to add it to my Goodreads, because that will help me to remember to read it. It's called The Harlequin and the Drangu. Lian Zane, which has really good ratings, so that's awesome. Olivia Markham lives a complicated life. By day, she's a star CIA officer working a cover as a graduate student in Vienna. By night, she's a self-appointed kick-ass superhero wearing a harlequin's hood and wielding a wicked bow. Life is about to get more complicated. Anyway, it's the first book in a trilogy, and Anyway, I got to chat with the author for a bit. I don't know. Maybe like 2 months ago? A month and a half ago? And I keep meaning to add it to my Goodreads, so I remember to read it. Okay. Let's do... Alright. I'm out of water, and I'm starting to get a little bit of a headache. I mean, as I always do, but let's just do one more because it looks really cute. I know these were like really random, all over the place books. Sorry if you didn't find anything. Oh, I didn't spell that right, but it still found it. Luna Oscura. Look at this cover. Look how cute! It's so cute. Introduce your little one to the importance of acceptance and how everyone deserves to belong. Under the canopy of trees in this deep, dark forest, there exists a community of cats, and within that community there sits Luna, a black cat ostracized by the others due to superstitious beliefs. Aided by her trusty companion Toad, Luna goes on a mission to not only find her forever home, but also her power, realizing along the way that black cats are magic, and no one can tell her otherwise. Written and illustrated by the ever so lovely Heidi Moreno, a cat enthusiast herself. This hard, blah, 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 blah. So cute. It's so cute. I love it. Trying to see if there's like Also, Elizabeth. I don't know if you're watching this still or Elizabeth G. I don't know if she's still watching this or Luna. You have a black cat, so you should have to read this. It looks so cute. I saw it at the library and I was like, what is this? I need to read it. I totally want to participate in that romance readathon, but also I felt like garbage, so I haven't been reading. So thank you for the recommendation. And I did sign up for it, and then I didn't read, so I'll have to see if I can participate, like add in the books I've already read and see what I get, but I haven't been paying attention at all, but it sounds really good. And then and then I'm probably gonna go take a nap because I'm starting to feel a little cruddy. But yeah, definitely feeling better this week than last week. I don't know. I was just feeling really off, but definitely in the right direction, and I'm really excited. I start my new medication tomorrow. So keep your fingers crossed for me that this medication loves me and does what it's supposed to do for my body quickly and efficiently. Anyway, so that I can feel better in at least one respect. Anyway, for hanging out with me today. And thank you for all of you who chatted with me. I really appreciate it. I'm not good at chatting in live chat, so fingers crossed. Thank you. So I appreciate it. It's very, very kind. And yeah, like I said, I won't be here next Sunday, but I will try to do a live stream instead on Friday. But we'll see. I'll see how I'm feeling on Thursday, and if I'm feeling good on Thursday, I'll schedule one for Friday, and you should see that pop up. But we'll see how it goes. Because I figured out how to schedule them today. Good med vibes coming your way. Okay, good. Thank you. I'm very excited. It's like, I don't know how much you guys want to hear about like the medication I'm taking, if you have like med icks or anything. But I will say it's my first injectable medication. So it's very different for me. So I'm also anxious about it because of that. But we'll see how it goes. Anyway. But yeah. And also good reading vibes this week. And same to you. I hope you read what you want to read and that you have just a good week in general. And I should see you on Friday. Thank you for hanging out with me.